People say that the Kings lost the Tyrese Halliburton trade. Now, while yeah, we did, but
for the win! Bogdanovich! The open shot. Who gets the deflection? Are you? Goes Hapanga.
Hello and welcome back to the Eastman Sport Report, your father-son coach-player podcast about the Sacramento Kings and San Francisco 49ers. I am your host, Max Eastman, joined once again by my co-host, Stephen Eastman.
Hello, Max. Hello, everybody out there on podcasting land. We thank you again for joining and coming along with our fun little father-son coach-player podcast. We appreciate everybody listening.
Speaking of father-son coach-player podcast, as you can see, I'm doing my best him cosplay, dressing like my dad. It's also Father's Day right now, so if you could show the camera your shirt that you decided to bring.
Yes, as you can see here. It's
you can stand up, maybe.
Do I need to stand up? Can you see it this way?
Yes.
Okay. Best dad ever shirt. I think my kids actually, definitely my kids got me a shirt. I don't know if it was Max.
I don't think it was me. This definitely looks like one of my sister's gift.
Yeah, so shout out to whatever kid. Sorry, I don't remember which one. Shout out to my kids for getting me this shirt. I do love all of them. They're all amazing and special. Mm-hmm. And
we would name them, but well, we can name Sam because he was on season 1. But
anyway, it does have Niners in the logo in the shirt, so that's kind of my sports tie-in.
Yes,
and because it's we're a father-son coach-player podcast, it is Father's Day. We wanted to do a special tribute to fathers.
Again, if you want to skip this part and get to like the Kings, other stuff, break down the times. I think I would put it like here if I'm pointing in the right direction.
Okay. And so we're going to do a quick, a little bit of my recollection of my parents, or my dad.
Yes.
My father and my grandparents, or grandfathers. Sports related, of course, though.
Yeah, sports related.
Sports related, of course. So I remember my dad, one of my favorite memories of my dad, or earliest memories of sports with my dad, was back when VHS tapes were brand new. So back in the early 80s.
Fancy.
Yes, fancy. So
VHS tapes.
We owned
wild.
We owned a Christian bookstore, and we didn't have a VHS player at home. So we would take the VHS player from the store, bring it home to record the Super Bowl.
Nice.
So every Super Bowl we had to record. I don't know. We probably didn't keep all of them every year, but we used to record every single Super Bowl. The other thing my dad would do is he would also record the Indy 500. Indy 500, he loves auto racing, still does. My brother loves it more than I do now. He kind of does the NASCAR stuff.
Yeah.
But I grew up watching Indy 500, and so Memorial Day weekend was all about, it was always on it during church time, so we'd record it and then watch it later that afternoon. We watched the Indy 500. So before DVRs, we record the Indy 500.
Yes.
So that's kind of some early memories of him. I do remember my dad taking my first ever Sacramento Kings game. I think it was against the Houston Rockets. So he got me some tickets. I can't remember if I was in junior high, I think, when I went to the first Kings game I went to. Of course, it was Arco Arena. I might have gone to one every year or one every other year. We didn't go to a lot growing up. He did take me to a couple of Kings games, so I remember that. He also got me into watching the Niners, watching the Super Bowl, watching football. He liked football.
Yes, nice.
So we did watch football together. He also grew up, he was in high school, he was a wrestler. I don't know if I ever showed you the move. Maybe later today I'll have to go home and do this. He taught me this special move with wrestling.
I think I remember you telling me about this. I don't remember what it is, though.
Yeah, it's pretty cool move that he taught me of what he used to do in his wrestling. And so high school wrestler, I think he was actually pretty good in high school. I don't remember his record, so I don't want to be totally wrong. But he was like really good, he told me, in high school.
Which you're supposed to say if you're a dad.
Yeah,
I could have gone pro if I didn't.
Yeah, I could have gone
shoulder injury.
So he was pretty good. He went to Bella Vista High School. I think he's class of 64. Anyway. So
that's weird.
Yeah.
I'm going to be class of 26, I think.
Yeah, and I'm
graduate next year.
So I'm class of
full-time Eastman Sport Report.
He was 64. I graduated 94, and you're going to be 26.
Fun numbers.
Yes. Anyway, memories from my grandpa on the Eastman side. Growing up, he was actually a diver. I think he was a championship diver.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard this story.
Not once.
Okay, so he was a diver in college. Dad, if you're listening, I hope I get this right. See, my grandpa has passed away. I think back in like 89, so quite a few years ago. So I was 13 at the time.
Okay.
Anyway, so I heard stories. He was, I think, a championship diver. I think at college. One of the stories I remember hearing about him from college was he would walk around campus
Oh, I have heard about this one. Though.
on his hands and hold his textbooks with his feet. So
That's pretty impressive.
that is pretty impressive. So he was short, so I don't think he played basketball.
Wait, he was short? No, that actually makes sense. Like, okay,
I think he was like, I think he was 5'2", and my dad
5'2".
My dad was 5'5". How did I get to be 5'10" is a total God thing.
I don't know how. And then you married my mom.
She's 5'9".
And I'm 6'1" now. So
Yeah, you're 6'1", close to 6'2".
almost praying that I get there.
But your grandpa from my grandpa, your great grandpa,
Was 5'2".
was 5'2", maybe 5'1". Like he was short, and like Grandma Pearl was a couple inches shorter.
And then two generations later,
Yeah, I'm 5'10".
that's weird.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. I think they actually came from the Cushman side. Now, the Cushman side of the family, they were not into sports.
Mm-hmm.
They lived up in Gridley, California. So if anybody knows what that is, good for you, because it's up not very.
Yeah.
I think they have now 2 or 3 stoplights as you drive through town.
Ooh. Ah,
I think my mom remembers growing up there when they had the first stop sign in town. Like that was big.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, he was a truck driver.
Mm-hmm.
He had his own DW Cushman trucking company. Anyway, trucking company up there. I think my cousin still might. I think he's, last I know, he's still a trucker,
Okay.
uses the same
Okay.
name. Anyway, but so I remember, not sports-wise, but he was more of an outdoorsman. He had a farm. I think they had 80 acres up there at one time, and he had cattle, and so he would drive the cattle around to, with the farmers. They would do other things around the farm. Anyway, so that's some of the things that I remember about my, grandparents being kind of sports-related.
Mhm.
He was more of an outdoorsman type of thing. He never really... Yeah, he was not much into sports.
I feel like I could share what I know about you being my dad for sports, but like, I feel like most of my memories of you and sports relating is like because his father-son coach play podcast. The reason why we said that is because I think all throughout elementary school, besides like maybe first grade, I don't know, you were my basketball coach.
No,
and
first grade we were.
in first grade, and was it third grade that I started flag football as well?
It was either third or fourth.
Okay, yeah.
Somewhere in there, yes.
And I also did baseball. I forget when I did baseball. I wasn't very good at baseball. Don't ask me to play baseball. But
you did play 2 seasons.
yes.
And your second season.
See, second season I won league, and I went out on top. I
Yeah.
said, I'm done with this. I don't want to play it anymore.
He
But I
tried.
won.
He tried. I was not your coach.
He was not my coach.
For
So
ba- for
that's
baseball.
not. So that baseball's not
I
related.
did coach you basketball and flag football.
You did ask, like, can I help out in any way? And like, you weren't very good at what you're doing, bud.
I did not know any. I do not know how to. I mean, I could throw a ball. I could tell you whether you hit it or not. The ball.
I think
or not.
I caught one fly ball the entire season,
Good for you.
and that it took me a really long time in practice to like get
Yeah.
it right. But
Yeah.
it took me. Baseball's not my sport. Basketball is my sport.
Yeah.
I think I'm decent at basketball.
And I think volleyball you're pretty good at too.
Yeah, that too. But
anyway.
okay. I don't know how to describe what it's like having my dad as my coach in front of you. It's just like
because I'm right here and you're talking
Yeah.
to me. I get you.
But like, it's just you were just it's I don't know how to describe it. You're just there. It's like
Can you ever picture me not as your coach? Because this past season, technically, I was not your coach.
yes, you were
This
not
one-
my coach. You weren't like an assistant
Yeah.
coach or anything.
I was your
like,
assistant coach your first 2 years in varsity.
I think it's nice to not have to like be independent and not just have my dad there at all times, and like people actually won't go easy on me like how you could have. But they challenge me in different ways than you did.
Yeah.
I think that
Which is good sometimes
Mhm.
to have a different voice.
Yes,
Yes.
but I think what you did teaching me throughout basketball, and that also leads me to like volleyball and sort of soccer as well, which
Mm-hmm.
I guess they transfer, is that you taught me how to think about the game the most.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the passing, like the motion, like always keep on moving. Where like my high school coaches and I think my middle school coach as well, like they were like doing like the how like shoot a lot, like how to do layups and stuff like. But you taught me how to like move around the offense and stuff like that. and also defense. But like
Yeah.
that's a different thing. Like you taught me how to vision the court, like how to see everything.
And see what's happening.
Mhm.
And I think you did that last year of being kind of the defensive. You were the one talking and almost kind of being the defensive coordinator on the field, almost like a safety back there, kind of as a big guy. You're watching everybody and pointing out where people's at. Anyway, that's cool. That partial things on that. So anyway, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, to all the dads, happy Father's Day to my dad. I'll see you in a few hours. So we'll see if hopefully we'll post this podcast later today here on Father's Day. Again, it's great to have a day to celebrate fathers and grandfathers, and I will be a grandfather in a few months. So we'll see what that's
Hopefully she will be on the Eastman Sport Report at some point.
Yeah.
But
my little granddaughter. So
we'll see. To be seen. It's not mine. I cannot. I'm 17.
No.
It's not mine.
I have a daughter who's married, and anyway. So okay, moving over to the Sacramento Kings.
Moving on. Actual sports. What is happening with the Kings? Well, I know what's happening, but like, there's so much internal stuff that's happening with the Kings right now. I heard you talking about it. It's like there's like 15 trade rumors in one day that was just spurting out left and right of stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to trade for Trae Young. We're not going to trade for Trae Young. We're very close to trading for Drew Holiday. Apparently, we don't have enough for Drew Holiday. It's like a lot of different things. And I think that because of what was announced this morning on Father's Day, the Desmond Bane trade, where Desmond Bane got traded for, like, I think 2 players and 4 first-round picks. I think the asking price for
one pick swap.
Yeah, and 1 pick swap. I think the asking price for a lot of these players has gone up because of that.
Well, it's kind of funny that it's like if you go back to watch like Davion Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, when they got traded from the Utah Jazz got a whole bunch of draft picks.
Yes.
And then you look at some other draft picks, like, well, I mean, technically, Fox got traded for what ends up being 2 firsts and like 5 second-round picks.
Yeah.
And then you see some, like, so it was originally 33 and 3, but we always knew it was going to be 2 and 5. But there's some that, like, like Luka Doncic gets traded for 1 first-round pick. So you're like, it's so crazy that, like, the amount of draft picks coming with these other things. Like,
I think they just spin a wheel, honestly. I think they just spin a wheel, see if it lands between 1 and 5, and see what happens.
It is kind of crazy. And like, there's not always a rhyme or reason to it. Because, like, Luka Doncic should have gotten, like, 4 first-round picks and 3 pick swaps.
Yes.
Like, that's what he should have gotten. Now, the Lakers didn't have that to give. That's probably why they didn't get that many. But, it's crazy how some teams get if you think about it from the Kings' perspective, would you trade Sabonis for 4 first-round picks?
Yes.
Would you trade Zach LaVine for 4 first-round picks?
Well, I don't think he's going to get 4 first-round picks, but yes, I definitely would trade him for 4.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know who would give that to him. But the other thing that's interesting about the Kings' rumors this season, there's so many rumors. And, like, we sometimes like to talk about rumors on this show. Sometimes we don't.
What else do we have to talk about now?
But there's so many rumors that I don't even know where to start. Now, the interesting thing is the names of the players are, and I'm going to talk about my hands today anyway a lot. Anyway, they're very different names than what we've had in the past. So Monte McNair always had the Cam Johnson, Kyle Kuzma, Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah.
Those are some linked names to the Kings over the past couple seasons. There's probably a few other that I'm missing. They were always there. Technically, we had Pascal Siakam and Ben Simmons was another one. OG Anunoby was rumored to go to the Kings. John Collins is one. And this year, new GM. Way different rumors.
Yeah.
Like, we got a lot of point guard rumors out there. Tons of point guard rumors.
Which we do need a point guard, so understandable. But
and that's one of the things he said in his conference that he says, like, so what point guards do we have? We have Trae Young, Darius Garland.
These are the ones that are rumored to go.
Rumored. Yes. Drew Holiday, Marcus Smart.
Yes.
Malcolm Brogdon. I think that's the 5 point guards that I've heard about.
That's wild.
And so you're like,
I'd like one of them.
Which one would you like, out of curiosity?
I don't really want Trae Young. I think he can be good. Like we were talking about earlier, I think if I had to choose anyone, Trae Young would be good. I don't want him specifically. Drew Holiday's a little older than I would like. And same thing with Marcus Smart.
Totally what I would want the Kings to get, but he's 35, so you got what?
Same thing with Marcus Smart as well. But
he's similar to, like, if you're trading for Drew Holiday, he's similar on the DeMar DeRozan type of thing. I think they're the same age. I think 35. And so, like, are you trading DeMar DeRozan for Drew Holiday? Okay, but you're not getting any younger.
And that's my thing. It's like we need to get younger. We need to get better talent. We need to get something so we can actually have a future to look towards, rather than just win now, move after win now, move after win now, move, and then suddenly nothing happens.
Yeah, if you were to say if you're trading Trae Young and you're keeping Zach LaVine, that's you had better score 140 points a game because your defense is going to be horrible. Even if you bring Keon Ellis in for off the bench. And we talked last podcast about his contract situation being funky. So you're like, you're starting off with no defense. That's out of the list. I think Darius Garland is probably my favorite out of that list.
I think he could be traded because the Cavs are already a really good team with him, and I think that they're still going to be a very good team without him as well.
So my thing is, would you be able to trade him for a DeMar DeRozan because they need a kind of scorer?
I don't think they would want DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, I don't know what they would want.
I don't know what team wants DeMar DeRozan is my thing. I don't know if any team wants DeMar DeRozan out there right now. I think
somebody wants him, but it's a good question of who. And then you're like, we don't have time to go through all the specifics on this podcast of, if you trade for Darius Garland, what would you give up? I just thinking from the flat aspect, out of those 5 players, I want Darius Garland because he's on the younger side. I think Malcolm Brogdon is an interesting pick, but I think looking him up a little bit, he's been a little bit injured recently. I like the idea of more of a defensive and kind of a point guard.
Yeah.
I like the idea of Drew Holiday 5 years ago would be amazing.
Or 2 years ago even.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean,
speaking of 2 years ago younger Drew Holiday, not like we having Fox 2 years ago.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's my thought on those 5 players. The other thing is there's some wild trades, rumors out there. Would you trade Sabonis to the Pelicans for Herb Jones? I think it was in a lottery pick, they're the top 10 pick.
No,
so there's some weird rumors out there that are just rumors, and it's so much the rumor season now. The other, if you want to talk NBA stuff, Kevin Durant's in the rumors, which I actually think that's a more realistic trade. I think Kevin Durant's going to get traded.
Yes.
Desmond Bane just got traded this morning. So, the trade season's starting to pick up, and I think there will be some trades either right before the draft, around the draft, and then that leads up into free agency. So, in a couple of weeks, I do think the Kings will do something. They have, pick number 42? So it's really hard to get into the draft of who we're going to pick in the second round. Now, the second round of the NFL draft, I could get into and figure out who I want to go after. But the second round of the NBA draft is such a, I don't know. I don't have the time in my day to spend looking over that. I do have a day job. And I can't be researching all of the Kings players back there. So anyway, that's where I feel the Kings are at, is it's so much a rumor season and so much of, we'll see. I like the fact that I think I trust Scott Perry, but I think Monty McNair started off his thing. We're doing really good too.
Yes.
I just don't. I think he was so. And I think I said this last time. He was always trying to keep his flexibility. He never went for it. I think that was Monty McNair's fault. Now, because we were seemed to be close to the Pascal Siakam trade, never completed it. We seemed we were close to other trades, which never completed them. So, I don't know why that we never will, unless Monty McNair writes a book of why these things never happened. It'd be interesting to hear his thoughts in a few years of why these things happened. I would love to kind of hear the reasons why some of these things didn't happen. Because if you look back at if you could have had Fox with Pascal Siakam and Sabonis and Monk and Kevin Huerter.
That's a playoff team.
I think we had to trade Kevin Huerter to get the. That's totally a playoff team. I would have loved to have that team. I'd love to.
Probably not in the same situation that the Pacers are in right now, but I think that that's definitely a Western Conference Finals type team right there.
Yeah, but you also think about the way you hear about Pascal Siakam being a leader on the Pacers. And the championship kind of DNA that he was doing on the Pacers right now.
Because he's been there before on the Raptors.
Yeah, he even said, he won the championship. Was it 2019 with Kawhi in that team and the Raptors? Because they went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, the Pacers did. And he got the rest of the team together in the offseason and says, that's not good enough for us. We are going to go farther. And we are going to become a better team. Now, they didn't start off that way.
Yes.
But they're in the finals. They're doing really good. They were tied 2-2. They were up 2-1, tied 2-2. Anyway, so I would have really loved to have the Pascal Siakam trade when it was happening. I was all for that at the time a few years ago. So anyway, anything else you want to add on the Kings?
Please, just figure it out. Or Scott Perry, figure something out. I just want to have something to look forward to that's not Zach LaVine, because I don't trust Zach LaVine for a future franchise. I don't trust DeMar DeRozan for a future franchise. I don't trust them together, because if you look at the Chicago Bulls, I don't want to be the Sacramento Bulls.
Yeah. Okay, let's move over to the Niners. Bookmark.
Bookmark.
Niner stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, Niner stuff. Switching over to the Niners things. Niners just finished their mini camp. So they've had the OTAs, 2 weeks of OTAs, and then the kind of mandatory mini camp was this past week.
Yes.
So a fair amount of news coming out of it. It's really hard to. So first off, it's really hard to judge offensive and defensive linemen
Yes.
in OTAs because they don't put pads on. They're not hitting. It's movement. Some of the interesting things. Do you remember Austin Pleasance? Have you heard about him and coming out of the thing? Okay.
He sounds pretty
Pleasant.
cool.
Okay. That's your dad joke for the day?
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
I'll be
Okay.
here for the next 20 minutes.
Okay. He's actually Chris Kocurek, the Niners offensive line
Mhm.
coach. He actually was surprised at how well he's moving this offseason. So he's like a backup offensive tackle. And so I've heard some reports that he's actually looking way better than they thought.
Okay.
Okay, that's cool. Always love to hear good things. If you go through, let's go through. Matt Barrows has 10 people that kind of stood out in spring practices.
Okay.
Now, besides Austin Pleasance, who had some other things, you also got to take out the fact that you're not going to hear any defensive lineman or offensive lineman
Mm-hmm.
because it's hard to judge.
Exactly.
They're going against air. It kind of just moving. So number one, D. Winters,
Nice.
which he's a third-year player.
Nice.
So he did a little better last year. His rookie year was kind of all over the place. Second year, he played a lot, and he actually outplayed the guy we cut. I want to say Campbell, was it? Who was
Devontae Campbell?
Devontae Campbell?
Yeah.
So he was starter, and then they actually got rid of Campbell, and they replaced him with D. Winters later in the season. So, and they say that D. Winters is making a big jump going into this third season. He's also in a competition with Nick Martin. Now, Nick Martin's a rookie. So that's actually, doing really, good. And D. Winters, they said he did really good in pass. One of the things I think, where's the quote at it? Let's see if I can find it here. So this is from, was it his linebacker coach or something like that? Anyway, whereas I don't see it right here in my notes, but anyway, he was, Winters has always been fast. He's actually bringing the smarts to it this offseason. It looks like he's playing smarter, and he had some really good pass breakups as a linebacker going against wide receivers. If a linebacker can cover wide receiver, that's really good. So that's one of the things that D. Winters is really good. Number two is DeMarcus Robinson, who they picked up off the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now he's again you don't have Ricky Pearsall because he has a hamstring injury.
Okay.
Juan Jennings has a calf injury. So Juan Jennings was actually their best wide receiver the first couple weeks of OTA. He did not play during mini camps. And Ayuk is still out.
Yes.
So Robinson is your only really veteran out there with a whole bunch of young players. So he'd kind of better stand out. And he did. Good. Okay. Robinson is 30. He's probably going to be your third or fourth wide receiver, but he could be suspended at the end of the season. Another wide receiver looking really good is Jacob Cowing coming off his second season. He probably had like 2 or 3 catches all of last season.
But he was our return specialist, right?
Yes. And we have a competition for that. I think it's Bergen coming out of Montana. So
Okay.
Anyway,
seems cool.
but Jacob Cowing put on some muscle. He's actually, they say he was a speedster last year. And one of the things that Shanahan's always hard on wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
We've mentioned that before.
Yes.
Most people know that. He is doing much better job. Cowing is keeping his speed coming in and out of breaks. So he runs and then he cuts. He's able to keep his speed in the cuts, which from the aspect of getting separation from a defensive back, keeping the speed in your cuts is huge. So that's good news.
Obviously. That sounds pretty good.
Jacob
Cowing season?
Yeah, Jacob Cowing, could he be a breakout? Now, the funny thing is if you look at Jacob Cowing, he's been healthy. Ricky Pearsall, I mean, he did get shot.
That's different. So,
But he was injured before he got shot. He was just about to come back, and then he got shot.
Mhm.
Where's Ricky Pearsall right now? He's injured again with another hamstring injury. So there's kind of a recurring theme. Now, it doesn't say he can't totally recover, and they're not saying it's long term. But the fact that Jacob Cowing is mostly healthy and Pearsall has a history of being injured, love to see it. Jacob Cowing's doing good. Two people competing for the nickelback spot: Trey Brown and Upton Stout. Upton Stout. I said that wrong. Upton Stout.
Water spout. Gotcha.
Yes, not a spout. He's a stout. He's a stout player, right? There's totally so many dad puns you could play in there, right? Playing your Father's Day dad puns.
Trout.
Stout.
Pout.
Okay. So Trey Brown and Upton Stout, they're both competing for the nickelback spot.
I don't know what cout means.
So they're both looking good, which is, love to see that your defensive players are looking good. The other one is rookie wide receiver Jordan Watkins. Which again, I think I was said in the first draft of the draft after draft, I was a little worried about Jordan Watkins because he's a wide receiver. Anyway, so he's looking pretty good. Has speed and fluidity. The hard part is let's see when actually will he be able to have speed and fluidity once they put the pads on. Christian McCaffrey's looking good. There was the Austin Pleasance, which I already mentioned. Tatum Bethune, he was a rookie last year. 7th round pick. He's looking pretty good. He possibly could get maybe the team's 4th linebacker. And then Matt Barrows also lists Mac Jones as looking good. So,
I sometimes forget that Mac Jones is on my team. It just doesn't register.
Yeah.
Like, he made a Pro Bowl his rookie season. Now he's just bouncing around teams.
Has Purdy actually made a Pro Bowl? Did he made it last? I don't think.
Well, I think he was going to get voted his Super Bowl year, and then went to the Super Bowl instead. So,
yeah. So anyway, that's your kind of a little bit of things coming out of the Niners training camp. Anything else I wanted to put out on this? Anything else you have on Niners stuff?
I don't have anything else for the Niners.
I've read so much about Niners and what was happening and what was coming out of there. Do you remember? I think I told you this might have been yesterday or the day before. Who in minicamp were the Niners starting safeties?
Oh, I remember it was a bunch of... I remember I said Renardo Green, and then he said he's injured.
No, he's a cornerback.
Oh, he's a cornerback.
Mustafa is
What
injured.
am I thinking? Mustafa's injured.
Yes.
And then I forget the other guy who
and
is.
Jair Brown.
Jair Brown is also injured.
He's out with an ankle. Mustafa
so then we have
isn't he?
2 new safeties just back there, right?
Yes.
People I've never heard of.
Yes. Do you remember these names? One is Jason Pinnock.
Jason what?
Pinnock.
Jason Pinnock.
Yes. Last name is Pinnock.
It's a picnic back there?
Exactly.
Okay.
He's going to have a picnic with Grant.
Picnic?
Hey, okay.
Thank you. I'm trying to find dad jokes here. Father's Day.
Father's Day dad jokes. So Pinnock, he actually is a little bit of history. He actually was on the Jets originally. So Robert Saleh.
Yes.
Robert Saleh.
Oh,
connection.
yeah.
Okay. They converted him from cornerback to safety, but in 2022 he got beat out. And so Robert Saleh said, well, we like his athleticism, his length, and his football IQ, which he's actually, compared to some of the other Niners defense players, Pinnock is actually a little longer.
Yeah.
So
okay.
And I hear that, like, in his development of moving from cornerback to safety, this is the perfect time where, hey, maybe he's going to do good. So, I have good hope for Pinnock. Richie Grant, I think, is another one of those veterans, somewhat younger. Hey, maybe he's just going to fit better in this system.
Okay.
I think Pinnock has a little bit better hope than Richie Grant, but that was the 2 starting safeties on the 2, and Pinnock is probably looking better than Grant. And I could actually see Pinnock starting week 1 with maybe, say, Jair Brown. That's early June, 16th, 15th. Total guess here, but I could see Pinnock starting week 1.
Makes sense.
Is
that it?
Anything else that's coming out of the thing here?
Are you ready?
Oh, I know you totally want to break down the kicker battle.
Nope.
Between Jake Moody
and
Greg Joseph.
Is there any news between them? Besides that both look good, because kickers always look good in preseason and other stuff.
Did you hear that Jake Moody changed his kicking to a 2-step kick instead of a 3-step kick?
Is it making it better?
He's supposed to be more accurate. It might affect his distance, but it'll make it more accurate.
Okay.
That's the heartbreaking stuff we bring you on the Eastman Sport Report. We'll show video of Jake Moody's. No, we won't.
No.
Jake
I
Moody's.
don't think there is video.
There might be somewhere. Jake or Greg Joseph went 7 for 7 on Wednesday, and then Jake Moody, he did pretty good the other day, but I think he missed one kick. And then, of course, everybody online was like, he missed a 37-yarder. How bad of a hard kicker are you?
You miss them in practice so you can make them in games.
Yeah, but he made a 55-yarder and made the other ones. But anyway, whatever.
Moving on.
Okay. I think that's all of my...
okay. So...
Max has something fun for us to do.
This is a little bit of a shorter episode, except if I go to the channel and just like look through this, there's probably like a episode that's like 30 minutes from season 1 we were doing this, and then we quickly caught up to doing over hour episodes. But this is the off season for both of our favorite teams, so there's not really a lot to talk about right now. For what the heck is my brain thinking? There's not really a lot to talk about for the Niners and the Kings, so we're just talking about, like, we're running on fumes basically here. But I looking through the podcasting landscape, I wanted to get some ideas for this. So I saw this one podcast. It's probably popular. You've probably heard it before. It's called the Deep 3 Podcast. They do this thing where they create clips. This is just me doing that so I can make clips for things. So we're going to have more, and then I don't think we have time because it is Father's Day and we have to get going so we can actually do the stuff that we planned earlier. It's 2 o'clock.
Yes.
So we're going to rank the leaked NBA City Edition jerseys.
So no, it's not. We don't know if all these are accurate, but they are.
They should be all accurate.
But they are the leaked ones for this upcoming year.
And there's 2 that are missing, which is the Charlotte Hornets and the Utah Jazz that we have.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So starting off, I also put them on the screen for the viewers. They should be somewhere. Starting off, we have the Atlanta Hawks with their MLK stuff. Now, I like Martin Luther King, but this is like the 4th year that you've done Martin Luther King stuff, and I just think that you should do something that represents the whole city of Atlanta rather than just one guy. Now, he is Martin Luther King Jr., and he did kind of do the civil rights movement, so...
And I totally respect Martin Luther King. You know, he's a great Christian guy. You know, he did so many things about the way he peaceful protested and everything.
Yes.
Total mad respect for the guy. But yeah, it's been a couple years.
It's kind of...
I don't know if there's anything else you could do with Martin Luther King than just put MLK on your front of your jersey. I'd love to respect him. And if that's the way
it's
they want to respect him.
It's just a little boring. Like, it's not a bad jersey, but it's just a little boring.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like any sort of color you could put around there on that type of thing. I don't know, some sort of logo. I don't know what what kind of logo do you have for Martin Luther King? But anyway, so okay.
Moving on for that, we have the Brooklyn Nets. Now, yikes, in my opinion, because you just have your regular Brooklyn Nets jersey, and then what the heck is the side paneling on this?
It's very colored.
It's colorful. It's colorful. It might look slightly better.
I think they've had something like this before in the past.
It's not looked good in the past either.
That's true.
It looks like you gave a kindergartner the side panel, and they just started coloring it in with a bunch of different crayons, just going side to side.
Hey, you know, if it was my grandchild that did that, I'd be very happy to put that on a jersey.
Okay, but like it's not my grandchild. It's a professional designer that's probably paid thousands of dollars to do this.
Okay.
It does not look good. Okay. I feel like we should put a number rating to these. So the Atlanta Hawks one out of 10, I'd say that's like a 5.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Because
That's
it's kind of a middle of the road 5.
It's just a jersey.
It's just a jersey.
Okay, the Brooklyn Nets, that's a 3. In my opinion. I'm gonna rate 3 out of 10.
I'll go to 4.
Okay. And now
are we writing these down somewhere?
I don't know. I'm going to look through the video and look at these. Okay, then the Boston Celtics. Now, I think this jersey is really cool. And I think it looks really cool. I like the little detailing on the jersey itself, like the sort of tile print.
Well, it
and
looks like the parquet floor that's very famous at the at the Boston Garden.
Yes.
Garden.
And also, I like the using sort of like a Celtics, like a pot of gold type of gold. If I think that would be the reasoning when they released this, like leprechauns and stuff.
But there's no green, which is very like they put like a green panel on the side.
I understand that, but like I like how different it is. Because like if you think about Kings City Edition jerseys, and like how it can be blue, it can be red, it could be It can be other things. I like how they're trying something different with this, and I think they accomplish it. I'm gonna give this an 9. I think it's just a really good
okay.
jersey.
I was thinking 6 or 7. I'll go with a 7.
Okay. Chicago Bulls. This is, I think, a repeat of one that they did before. If not, it's very, very similar to that.
Yeah.
But this is a 4. It's
You
not
keep taking my numbers. I was thinking 4 too because they have 4 stars on the side,
Yeah.
so it gets a 4.
It's just a boring jersey. It's like, do something. If it's a city edition jersey, you can do something creative, and you're just not doing something creative. Now, speaking of creative, we have the Land. This is the most 70s jersey I've ever seen.
Was there something popular in Cleveland? I mean, I don't know the total.
I don't know
history
what the Land is supposed to stand for.
Well, it's Cleveland.
Yeah, I get that. It's a stupid name.
Maybe we're not from Cleveland. We don't get that.
I haven't seen anyone explain what the Land is online either, besides
Put in
just
the
it being
comments.
part in the name.
Besides, the other things, but put in the comments why, so we can educate. Maybe
I
we
do
should get-
like the colors. I like
I
the
don't
color.
like the colors at all. I hate the brown.
It's sort of more of a it's sort of more of a washed out colors than what they originally have, with like
Yeah.
the sort of burgundy red type of thing. But it's just, or maroon red. But it's just kind of a, I like how they tried to do something different. Now, it's better than just doing nothing. So I'm gonna give this a 6
Oh, okay.
because it's like, it's better than just doing nothing, which is what some of these jerseys do, which is just like, it looks like a regular jersey, like the Chicago Bulls and like the Martin Luther King Atlanta thing. It just looks like a regular jersey. But like, I like this, but
Okay.
it's like, I don't know how you could change it to like be, maybe if it was white and the colors put on the letters itself, I think that would be better. But yeah, 4.
You said 6, right?
6. Sorry,
Okay.
6.
I'm gonna give it a 2. I don't like it at 1.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
like it at 1.
Dallas Mavericks. Again, this is just a jersey. That's just a jersey. 5. It's not a bad jersey. It's just a jersey, though.
That looks like the Chicago ones. I'm gonna give it a 4. Like, I'm sorry, you're below average.
Okay, Nuggets. Then going back to the retro vibe, I think this is pretty cool. Now, it is a retro jersey, so like, I don't know how unique you can be with that, but I do like it.
And Denver has kind of they've looked into this kind of rainbow theme, which they used to have. Was
Yes.
it the 80s and
Mhm.
90s? They had this rainbow thing on their jersey. I really like this. I would put this at like a 7 or 8.
Yes.
I really like.
I'm put at a 8. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, moving on. Detroit Pistons. Now the picture that we have is actually Cade Cunningham wearing the jersey. I think it is cooler that it's sort of my bad. I think it is based off of the old jersey and logo that they used to have with like the teal and the yellow, orange, goldish stuff, but it's also just a jersey. It doesn't look bad. I think it's a good looking jersey, but it's also just a jersey. I'm gonna give this a 6.
I was thinking 5 because it's like it kind of reminds me of one of the ones we had at the very beginning where it's like MLK. Like, okay,
Yes.
it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's not great. You're kind of middle of the road, so 5.
If I saw someone go out with this on on the court, I wouldn't
Mhm.
be like, oh, that's a bad jersey.
Yeah, but it's nothing special.
Anyway, we have the Town from Golden State Warriors. Do you want to? You were looking at this earlier. Do you want to say what you
Yeah.
had?
So I know Golden State plays into the Town is Oklahoma, or sorry, Oklahoma. I don't know why I said that.
Oakland.
Oakland, and the city is San Francisco.
Yes.
So they're leaning into the Oakland side this year. You're
Mhm.
not in Oakland, but you're trying to pull in the Oakland fans.
Mhm.
I don't get calling it the city and the town. I know that's what it's called, but I think it's kind of blah. I would give it a 4.
I'm gonna give it. Yeah, I was also thinking, it's not. It's not the worst jersey I've seen. Like there's like if I scroll down,
Yeah.
there's some jerseys that I'm gonna roast, but like this is a 4. This is a 4.
Yeah.
It's not. I feel like our ratings are a lot harsher than other people's online, but like 5 is average. Like if you just look at an average NBA jersey,
Yeah.
like if you look at the Philadelphia 76ers jersey, that's like an average jersey. Like they're just the regular jerseys. That's
Mhm.
that's a 5 out of 10. That's like the baseline of jerseys. So a 10 is like a above average jersey.
See, yeah, this is. Anyway, I don't.
Anyway, so moving on, we have the Houston Rockets with H-Town. I think this is also sort of a rehash of what they had a while
Yeah.
ago. I hate the H-Town branding. I don't like it a lot. It's you could do this for literally any town. We're Sacramento, we're S-Town, we're Los Angeles, we're wait.
We usually call it S Town, or Sac Town.
Yeah, but it's you could do this with literally any
Yeah.
city. It's not a bad jersey, so I'm gonna give it a 4 because I think the H-Town stuff just It's just bad. I like the lettering and the look of it, but again, it's just a jersey.
Well, it's similar to me to the kind of the town where it's like, okay, it's in the okay, but it's slightly below average in my opinion.
Now we have the Indiana Pacers. I think this is a throwback. If I could be,
Well, it's kind of looks like it's a modern take on their color scheme.
Yes, it looks like a modern take on the throwback jerseys and also the like stripes that they have. The letters do look like they are Among Us characters. I don't know if you know what Among Us is, but it does look like them. So it's not a bad jersey. I'd give this a 7 because it looks nice.
Yeah, I would give a 7 or 8. I kind of like it. Like if I was to buy one of these other jerseys, like I could see buying that one. Like that's a good looking jersey. It's a 7.
And now
8.
we have the LA Clippers.
When I
can you hire a new can you hire a new whatever design team, because LA does not have an identity. They got a sort of better one because I like the logo, the newer logo that they have. I actually know what a Clipper is now because it has a ship on it, but this is not it.
When I first said this, and this was before the cameras were on type of thing, Max was showing me these pictures. I'm like, this looks like the LA Fitness team. like you go to like you're going to play like if you were to get this as like an LA Fitness, like this is a cool jersey for LA Fitness. For the Clippers?
No. This is a 3.
I'd give it almost a 2 because
it's not terrible. It's not terrible, but it's just so nothing. It's a 2.
Yeah, it's a 2.
And then we have the Lakers again, which is the Los Angeles Lakers, which is a rehash from before. Now, I get this is technically a throwback jersey because they used to have blue and white stuff, and they had like the Minnesota and stuff, but they changed it with Los Angeles. Boo. No one liked this when you did it before, and now you're doing it again. You're making Luka Doncic wear these jerseys.
I don't like the font. Now, maybe it's a throwback font, and I don't get
it. I think it's so dumb seeing the N as the highest letter out of everything. It's just not a good jersey. It's not. I think it's better than the Clippers one, so I'd give it a 3.
Oh.
But it's not a good jersey.
I mean, I actually knew which team this was. When I saw the other one, I had no idea what team it is.
It's just LA.
Yeah. Anyway, I'd give it a 4. It's kind of it reminds me of the H-Town, the town in Oakland. You know, the Golden State Warriors. It's kind of along those lines of things. I mean, it's like it's in that bucket for me.
Now we have the Memphis Grizzlies. Now I like this jersey. I like that they actually use the tertiary color, which is the yellow, which I don't think they use anywhere else. I like the side paneling of it.
It's true. I do like that.
So I think this is like a 9. It's just a nice. I like the subtle pinstripes.
It's very clean.
I like the subtle pinstripes of it. It's not. They're doing something slightly different, but they're doing something different enough. It just looks like a good jersey.
Yeah. I was give this an 8 or a 9. This would probably be my top 5. Would be this Memphis jersey.
Okay, and then we have a rehash from Miami. This is a 10. I like Vice City colors. I like the. It's just a good. It's just good. They tried doing stuff with heat culture and other stuff. They weren't good, and they went, let's just go back. This is good. This is 10.
I mean,
no notes.
You can't mess with Miami Vice in the Miami Vice colors. If you want something classic for your city to really represents your city, this is it. I'd probably give it a 9. I don't know how you could. I think I liked it better when they had a little bit more of the pink and the blue color to it. But no, this is so
like
classic.
Like the gradient one.
I think they've had another year like this that I liked a little bit better than this one. But you can't. This is really good.
It's just it's one of the best jerseys of all time.
Yeah.
So next we have the Cream City of the Bucks. I like the Bucks using an off-white. I think that looks good for it to be different. I don't like Cream City. When I think of Cream City, you know what I don't think of? Milwaukee. Are they known for whipped cream? Do they make Dole Whip there? And sorry, I live in California. If you're watching this and you're from the Midwest and I don't know what Milwaukee is talking about here, I don't know about this, man. I like the jersey. I don't like the Cream City text, though. I'll give it a 7 because it looks good. They're doing something different with the off-white. It is a throwback from one of their older City Edition jerseys, which is weird to think that those can be throwbacks now, but it's not bad.
Okay, so I just Googled it so we could sound like we know what we're doing.
Yes.
Milwaukee is called the Cream City, not because of its dairy industry or beer, which they're famous for up there.
Yeah.
It's due to the distinctive light-colored yellowish bricks used extensively in its construction during the 19th century. So they had a lot of Cream City bricks of buildings in downtown Milwaukee. So light-colored bricks made of clay gave Milwaukee the name Cream City. Pale, creamy yellow bricks. So I get what they're.
don't care.
Well, I don't like it. I'd probably give it it's similar to me like the Los Angeles Lakers, the town. I think it's a 4. I totally get
4.
Yeah, I don't like it that much. Maybe you like it better, but I don't. I get the idea.
I said it was a 7. Like, it's a good jersey because like I like the color scheme of it,
well,
but I just hate the Cream City text.
Oh, see, I don't like it. I don't like it very much at all. To me, it's very similar like the town or the Los Angeles Lakers jersey, where it's just kind of, eh.
Okay, fine.
I get this one is very similar to me, so we're disagreeing. We don't have to agree on everything. Okay.
Next, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves with their purple pinkish type thing.
Yeah, good purple there. I like it.
I think
I didn't know they had purple in their color scheme.
they don't. That's the fun thing.
Okay.
They just. I don't know. This is similar to one of the ones that they used to do.
Looks Kingsish in a
It
way.
does look a little Kingsish just because it does a purple color scheme. The one thing that I don't really like about this is that it's sort of a navy blue instead of on the inside. It sort of clashes. It sort of muddies how rich the purple can be. Like if they had this in like a black jersey, I think it would look really cool. Or like they did it in a white jersey, I think that'd also be really cool. But like I don't like the navy blue of it. I give this like it's not a bad jersey as well. It's not a bad jersey. I'll give this a 6.
I was thinking more 7 or 8. I kind of
Okay.
like it a little bit. I like it a little bit more than you.
Okay.
I kind of like the little bit of at least the 5 at the bottom. Get a little wolf tail at the bottom down there.
That is cool.
Now, if you had De'Aaron Fox wearing this, with that little tail on it, that'd be awesome. But anyway.
Next we have the New Orleans Pelicans. Why neon? Why neon green?
Well, I'm assuming that has to do with the kind of the French Quarter and kind of the neon signs they have down there. But I think they've done this before.
It didn't look good then.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense then. It doesn't make sense now.
I'd give it a 5. It's kind of an average run-of-the-mill. Okay, you're representing the city.
Yeah, it's a 5, but
it's not really amazing. Like, I would not go buy this.
I agree. Next, we have the New York Knicks. I don't think you can go wrong with I think the New York Knicks have really, really good City Edition jerseys. They do it right a lot of the time. And the very, very subtle off-white that they have, I think, which differentiates it from their other white jerseys. I like the Nike logo over the NYC at the top. It's just a good-looking jersey, man.
No, I do agree. It's a very crisp, clean, good-looking jersey. Sticks with your color schemes. You know what team it is. And adds a little bit extra flavor to it than what you had before. So I like that. I'd probably give it like an 8.
I give it a 9. I think it's a really good jersey.
Okay.
Next we have OKC. Is that a tire mark in the middle, or what is that? Just swipe down in the middle.
That is not a tire mark.
I don't know what it is. It's like triangles or stuff going down.
Well, if I'm reading into it, trying to what the thing is, they're trying to do some sort of shapes with the OKC part, and so they're putting shapes down this.
It looks like you could make this in Minecraft. It looks very
okay.
Okay.
But I'd still give it a 6 or 7. Like,
I'd give it I think
it's better than some of the others that are just kind of blah.
I don't like it though. This is like a 5 or like a 4. This is a 4 for me because the text is too blocky. It looks like the Roblox logo. If you know what the Roblox it looks like the Roblox logo.
Okay. I like it better than you
Okay.
do. That's which is fine.
Next we have the Magic. I like this one.
I do too. This one's like a 7 or 8 to me. I like this one a lot.
I like looking at the jerseys for the Orlando Magic, the newer ones, because they're doing a rebrand. I think they could have chosen a better like main logo, but this is pretty good. Like they're just trying to go back to the pinstripe era for the Orlando Magic, and that's such good jerseys. Tracy McGrady, Shaquille O'Neal, such good stuff. I like the subtle gradient going from I like how it's not a hard gradient. Like how the Kings one, it goes from purple to black. Like how the old Miami Heat one went from a pink to a light blue with their old Vice one. I like how it's just a lighter blue down to a darker blue. It's not in your face, but I like it.
No,
But this is like I think this is, I don't know. If I had to give something a 10, I'd give this a 10.
Oh. I'm thinking like 8 or 9, but I'm not giving anything a 10, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this is a really good jersey. This would probably be my top 5. I have to go back and look and see if I do it here. Okay.
Okay, Philadelphia 76ers. I think this is a 5. It's just a Sixers jersey. I like the fans.
But I like the font trained back to the history, and it's red,
Mhm.
white, and blue.
I don't
give
get
it a
the,
6.
I don't get the gold side paneling because if you look at the side, there's a little strip of gold on it. I don't get that. Is that supposed to be
I
like
think
part of the
it's slightly-
Constitution? Is that a?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's slightly better than some of the others that are just kind of blah. This one, the font makes it look a little bit better than some of the other ones. I give it a 6.
I'd give it a 5. It
Okay.
just looks, eh.
Okay.
Okay, next is the Valley from Phoenix Suns. This is a good jersey then. It's a good jersey now. I'm going to give you a little bit of points off because this is like the 5th time we've seen this jersey, so I'm going to give it an 8 instead of what it
Yeah.
could be like a 9. Yeah.
You know, it's a 7 or 8. It's a
Mhm.
really good jersey, and when you have something that's really good, you make little tweaks on it, you don't mess it up.
Mhm.
So it's a really good, hey, stick with it type of jersey.
Okay, next jersey. Portland Trailblazers. What in the world? You had a goal here, and you fumbled it right at the end. I hate the weird texturing that you have
in that-
in the line.
What's in that teal stripe?
I don't know. I like the color scheme. I think it looks really cool as an alternate jersey, having like an opposite color for that. But I hate what in the world texturing material pattern is that? I don't like the PDX.
I mean, that's their airport, but
I don't like the PDX. Like it's just put Portland. Why isn't it called LA? Why don't they have an LAX for the Clippers instead? Like it doesn't look like it's so close to being good, but it isn't. I have to give it a 6.
it is close to being good. I think it's a little bit better than the Philadelphia one that I put as a 6, so it's a
Mhm.
little bit like a 6 plus.
6.5.
Yeah, but it's not up into the really good ones of a
Mhm.
7.
Okay. Next, we have the Sacramento Kings. Now, I may be a little bit biased here. Isn't this just a purple version of the gray one they had a few years ago?
Yeah, and the gray one, it was okay, but
yeah.
it wasn't great.
I think this is better because we don't really have just a straight purple jersey right now.
And I think they're almost leaving in too much into the black and
Mhm.
the white. I love having a purple jersey. So,
I'm going to give it a 7 because it's not a bad jersey, but it's also not like an excellent jersey like the 8 or 9s type of stuff. It looks good, but like it's not an excellent type of jersey.
yeah, and you're definitely going back to the grays that you had a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the grays were like, they were kind of blah in some ways. I didn't like them a lot. They were okay. I think what they were trying to do was try to lead into what Golden One Center is,
Mhm.
which is kind of the geometric shape around the
Yes.
outside of the Golden One Center. So like the
Lines
the
on the
lines
side.
on the sides are supposed to be what's supposed to be like the arena on the gray one, and so they're trying to be gray like the arena. I definitely love the purple way more.
Yes,
But I still
agree.
think it's only about a 7. It's not like
Okay.
an amazing jersey. Like if I was to go buy this, no, I would probably not buy this.
Mhm. You just go buy a better jersey. Anyway,
Yeah.
now we have San Antonio, the San Antonio Spurs. It's not terrible.
It kind of reminds me of the Denver Nuggets in that they have a color scheme, or even the Valley, like the Suns,
Mhm.
where it's like, hey, people love this the 3 colors that they
Mhm.
have there. That is a San Antonio. When I see that, I think of San Antonio.
Yes, I'm gonna
Okay.
give this like a. This is I'd say like an 8 because like this isn't their Fiesta one that they had a
Mhm.
few years ago. Oh, that was such a good jersey. It was like
Yeah.
that was like a 10 out of 10.
Mhm.
But I like the Fiesta color scheme. It's such a good just 3 solid colors.
yeah.
But I
And-
feel
and
like you could do a little more. I don't know what you could do a little more, but I feel like you could do a little more for it, like a little
Yeah.
bit more in like this, in like the what is it? What are like the sleeve area?
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's just sort of a black jersey with a colored thing. It does look good. It does look like it. If I had to buy a jersey, the San Antonio would definitely be one of them. But I'd say like an
Is that because Fox is on the team?
maybe.
Like if I said what jerseys I'd go back and buy, like that Indiana Pacers jersey
Mhm.
with a Halliburton, that would actually be a really nice jersey to buy.
Yes.
This one with the Fox, now, of course we're picking former Sacramento Kings players here,
Mhm.
but like I'd probably buy the Pacers jersey more than this one,
Okay.
in my opinion.
This is definitely like a.
This is good.
It is good. It's like if I could, I would go back and change the Kings ones to a 6 because they're not that good,
Yeah.
but they're like
Yeah, I know.
They're just
It's
sort
like
of
a 7 minus, and
this
this one's like a 7 plus.
this is a good 7. And then we have the Toronto Raptors. You were so I think it doesn't look terrible.
So the totally, I actually love the Raptor logo that they originally started with their first team and stuff like that. And then the funny thing is he's actually wearing their like North jersey that they had from like a couple of years ago, the past couple of years. I kind of like this one. I'd probably lean it to a little bit better than even the San Antonio one. I think it's more like an 8 to me. Like this is actually a really good good jersey. I kind of like this one.
The thing about the Toronto thing is that I love their purple ones that they have when it's purple and it looks so good. And then they decided to go, what if we just had that, but it was black, white, and red? And now it doesn't look bad.
I like how he's wearing another jersey. Like the Raptor is wearing another year's City's jersey. So I like that.
No, it's just I think that's just the regular jersey.
Is that the regular? I don't know. You're wearing another jersey of the team. I like that aspect of that. That's where I'm really liking it. Pushes it up to the 8 for me.
I wish it was a purple jersey. I wish it was a purple jersey. I think it's an 8 though, because it is just their old Toronto branding is just so. It just looks so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, last team. This is a Washington Wizards. This is a 1. What in the world am I looking at? This is just your regular jersey, but what if it was sun bleached and we just left it in the sun for way too long? This is a 1.
That is so boring.
Yeah, it's.
What was the other ones we gave it 2 to? It was the Land.
It was the Land. It was the Clippers one. I think you gave it like a 2 or something. But like this is just.
This is definitely worse. This is.
I'm sorry if you're a Washington Wizards fan. I think you've had some of the worst jersey runs in history.
I'm sorry. This is probably the worst jersey out of the whole list. I'm sorry, Washington Wizards fans, and I'm sorry that your team is. If you were, would you rather be a Wizards fan or a Kings fan right now?
Well, neither.
Okay. So as we're picking on you Wizards fans, we're in a place where like we're not sure which one we'd rather be. From a fan base perspective, but I'm sorry, our jersey is a little better than your jersey. Actually, it's way better than your jersey.
This is a 1.
Sorry, you have a bad team and a bad jersey.
It's even a 0. Honestly, it feels like the District of Columbia one, where it's like the weird rusted logo on the text. That was a 0. This is a 1. It's better than that, which is probably the worst jersey I have ever seen in my life. But this is a 1.
It's like okay, it's not laughable, but it's not great.
It's
nowhere.
No, it's a 1.
Okay. No, I agree with the 1 aspect. It's probably the worst one on the list.
Okay.
Anyway,
I have more, but we want to save time because we are at an hour now, and we do have plans we have to get to. So
okay. Well, thanks everybody for listening to our fun little going back of everybody's jerseys.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Bye.